Have you ever felt the unmistakable shift when someone with profound presence enters a room? How conversation suddenly halts and attention gravitates toward them without effort? What if your own energy could become so refined that it serves as a mirror, reflecting back to others what they most need to see about themselves? What would happen if you stopped seeking external validation and instead cultivated such inner stillness that your mere presence became a force of transformation? A silent person enters, the room changes, words pause mid-air, eyes wander toward them without intention or conscious thought. A subtle tension arises, not born of fear but of sudden awakening. This magnetic presence has nothing to do with conventional beauty, power, or social status. This is pure energy, not loud or demanding, yet utterly undeniable, not aggressive, yet somehow piercing through the social masks we wear. It disturbs not because it offends social norms, but because it awakens something dormant within those who encounter it. Zen philosophy teaches us that true power cannot be spoken into existence through clever words or grand declarations. The ancient texts whisper a profound truth. The one who truly holds the Tao does not need to defend or proclaim it. Their presence naturally unsettles illusions and pretenses. When energy becomes refined and perfectly aligned with deep presence, it transforms into a mirror reflecting reality, and mirrors, by their very nature, disturb our comfortable illusions. Why? Because they reflect not what people wish to see about themselves, but what they carefully avoid acknowledging. This remarkable quality of energy doesn't emerge from ambition, striving, or the pursuit of influence. Rather, it rises naturally from cultivated stillness and inner coherence. It isn't born from the applause of crowds, but from comfortable solitude and self-knowledge. In Buddhist wisdom traditions, energy that reaches higher frequencies naturally detaches from ego identification and begins to shine with unmistakable clarity. This clarity cuts through social noise like a beam of light through fog, and those who thrive on noise and distraction inevitably feel threatened by its silent power. Let us now embark on a journey of understanding the subtle dynamics of elevated energy. These are the 12 revealing signs that your energy has transcended ordinary levels and how this transformation silently shakes the unconscious world around you. Each sign unfolds a deeper layer of awareness and offers the story wrapped in stillness and profound reflection. First, you enter spaces and people suddenly quiet down. When your energy rises to higher frequencies, you no longer carry the weight and static of the egoic noise. Your silence walks before you like an invisible herald. The moment you appear in doorways or join gatherings, conversation bends and shifts. People feel somehow watched, though not judged. They feel strangely exposed, though you've said absolutely nothing to provoke this sensation. Have you noticed how most people speak primarily to feel important or to fill uncomfortable silence? Your natural stillness serves as a gentle reminder of their inner emptiness and performative behaviors. Your silence becomes a subtle confrontation to their carefully maintained social performances. A story tells of a monk who once entered a bustling marketplace saying nothing. Immediately, stall owners stopped their shouting. Buyers paused in their haggling. Later, Someone asked why he had disturbed the natural flow of commerce. He simply replied, "When water is perfectly clear, even muddy streams hesitate to merge with it." This is not control or manipulation. It is merely presence. Your elevated energy holds truth, and truth naturally silences noise without effort. Second, people struggle to maintain eye contact with you. Your gaze is no longer ordinary. It no longer seeks approval or validation from others. It sees without wanting anything in return. This quality of gaze carries profound stillness, and stillness terrifies those who live in perpetual inner restlessness. Most people maintain eye contact either to dominate others or to seduce them into approval. Yours offers neither of these familiar patterns. Instead, it simply reflects back their authentic state of being. The ego cannot stand being truly seen, so it instinctively looks away to preserve its illusions. In traditional meditation halls, students were often instructed, "Look deeply into the master's eyes and find yourself reflected there." Many cried upon doing so. Some even fled the hall entirely. Our eyes function as spiritual gates. When purified through inner work, they reveal truth without needing words to express it. Your energy, flowing through your clear-seeing eyes, reminds others of the masks they wear. That silent reminder feels like an approaching storm to those invested in their self-deception. Third, you are often profoundly misunderstood without even speaking. Words consistently fail to capture or describe your essence accurately. People attempt to label and categorize you but inevitably miss the mark. Some call you mysterious or enigmatic. Others dismiss you as arrogant or aloof. Some feel inexplicably drawn to your presence but cannot rationally explain why. Others feel irritated by your silence, interpreting it through their own projections. The mind fundamentally fears what it cannot easily categorize or understand. Your depth naturally rejects simplistic explanation or labeling, while the shallow-minded cling desperately to certainty and clear categories. You stand as a living contradiction to such simplification. A disciple once asked his teacher, "Why do people find you so strange and difficult to understand?" The elder simply replied, "Because I left the crowd behind and became fully myself." When your energy rises to higher frequencies, you naturally stop fitting neatly into social boxes and expectations. You begin to reflect back the madness of conformity itself, and that silent reflection disturbs many who have built their identities on fitting in. Fourth, you don't react as expected, and this unpredictability deeply unsettles people around you. Most people live their entire lives trapped in predictable patterns of stimulus and response. A kind word expects immediate gratitude in return. An insult expects defensive reaction or counterattack. You offer neither of these expected responses. Instead, you respond from conscious awareness rather than habitual conditioning. Predictable reactions comfort people because they create an illusion of understanding and control. Your emotional detachment disrupts this comfortable illusion. Others don't know which version of themselves to present to you because they sense you're not playing the same social games they're accustomed to playing. There's a story of a Zen master who, when publicly insulted, simply smiled and offered a respectful bow. The insulter, Frustrated by this unexpected response, screamed, "Why don't you defend yourself against my accusations?" The master calmly answered, "Because you are speaking to a version of me that exists only in your imagination, not to who I actually am. Your energy moves outside the realm of emotional reflexes and conditioned responses. It becomes beautifully unpredictable, and unpredictability naturally awakens fear in those who remain unconscious of their own conditioning. Fifth, you attract spontaneous confessions without ever asking for them. Complete strangers often open their deepest wounds to you, not because you demand or request their stories, but because your presence naturally disarms their usual defenses. You listen with such complete emptiness and non-judgment that people instinctively fill that space with their most vulnerable truths. Often, they feel strangely exposed afterward, wondering why they revealed so much. Your energy effortlessly removes the usual barriers between people. Others feel simultaneously safe yet vulnerable in your presence. They frequently regret what they've revealed to you, not because you judged them harshly, but because their own carefully maintained mask momentarily slipped in your presence. A traveler once sat beside a meditating sage and suddenly began to weep without understanding why. "I don't know why I'm crying," he whispered in confusion. The sage gently replied, "Because in my presence, you temporarily stop pretending to be who you are not." Elevated energy functions as a sacred mirror. People both deeply crave and simultaneously fear truly seeing themselves reflected in this mirror of awareness. Sixth, some people instantly dislike you without any rational reason. You do nothing to provoke this response, yet certain individuals show subtle irritation or discomfort around you. They find convenient excuses to criticize your words or actions. They gossip about you, undermine your contributions, or deliberately distance themselves from your presence. What's happening? Your light naturally unsettles their unacknowledged shadow aspects. Your calmness triggers awareness of their inner chaos. Your self-possession stings their deep-seated insecurity. They feel uncomfortably exposed simply by being near your field of energy. A student once complained to his teacher, "Why do some people seem to hate me though I harm no one?" The monk wisely answered, "Because your clarity threatens their comfortable fog of self-deception. Energy speaks far louder than surface kindness or politeness, and when your energy speaks of integrity and authenticity, it naturally disturbs those who have abandoned their own inner truth." Seventh, you are genuinely comfortable being alone, and this self-sufficiency profoundly confuses others. You sit alone not from social rejection but from conscious preference. You don't chase noise or constantly seek external stimulation. You don't beg for attention or validation from groups. Your solitude radiates quiet strength rather than sadness or lack. People who depend emotionally on crowds fundamentally cannot understand those who don't share this dependency. They assume you must feel lonely or isolated, but your energy actually thrives in the fertile ground of emptiness. A story tells of a wandering monk who was discovered meditating alone under moonlight. "Why are you always by yourself?" someone asked with concern. He simply smiled and replied, "Because I'm never truly lonely in my own company. When your energy transcends dependency on others for completion, your aloneness becomes an unassailable fortress of peace. The world consistently misunderstands such genuine inner freedom. 8. You simultaneously inspire both imitation and envy in others. People unconsciously begin copying your words, your habits, even your characteristic silence, yet these same individuals often criticize you behind closed doors. This strange mixture of admiration and jealousy emerges because your authentic presence reveals their own performance and pretense by contrast. They desperately want what you naturally embody, but they resist the challenging inner journey required to reach that state of being. Envy grows precisely from this gap between admiration and insecurity. A master once walked in perfect silence through a village. His eager disciple carefully mimicked his measured steps and posture, but true stillness cannot be superficially copied. It must be earnestly earned through inner work. The master gently observed, "You have copied my feet but completely missed my path. Your elevated energy cannot be duplicated through external imitation, but it will inevitably disturb those who attempt this shortcut." 9th, you often find yourself naturally excluded from shallow social circles and gatherings. You aren't invited to certain events not because you're actively disliked, but because your depth makes light-hearted gossip and superficial conversation suddenly feel uncomfortably hollow. People intuitively sense that your energy will not tolerate or participate in triviality and pretense. Your mere presence becomes a perceived weight in spaces that float on falseness and social performance. This exclusion isn't rejection in the conventional sense. It's simply the natural law of energetic resonance at work. In an ancient gathering of monks, one always sat slightly apart from the others. When questioned about this habit, he simply said, "I do not judge their expressions of joy. I simply do not need them for my own fulfillment." When your energy reaches higher frequencies, it naturally stops begging for inclusion and validation, and this self-sufficiency deeply confuses those who still measure their worth primarily by social acceptance and numbers. 10th, you feel emotions with remarkable intensity but do not express them with dramatic displays. You sense subtle energetic shifts in environments and relationships. You pick up underlying tension, authentic joy, or hidden sadness even when unspoken. Yet you do not react to these perceptions with excessive displays or emotional volatility. You simply absorb, reflect, and release without creating unnecessary noise or drama. Most people unconsciously equate emotional depth with volume of expression. Your quiet intensity makes them feel unsure how to read or categorize you. They fundamentally do not understand power that whispers rather than shouts. A young boy once asked a sage, "Why do you cry without shedding tears?" The sage responded, "Because I have learned to feel deeply without collapsing into my feelings." Your energy becomes like a powerful storm beneath a perfectly still lake surface. That paradoxical stillness often unsettles those who expect dramatic external validation of authentic feeling. 11th, people consistently project their own fears and insecurities onto you. You become a blank canvas for their unresolved issues and judgments. Some declare you arrogant without evidence. Others label you as excessively quiet or mysterious. Some feel strangely intimidated in your presence without understanding why. Very few actually perceive the truth of who you are beyond these projections. As we continue exploring these signs of elevated energy, we discover how this transformation creates a profound ripple effect in our relationships and interactions. The way others respond to your presence becomes a mirror reflecting not just their perceptions, but the profound impact of energy that has been refined through inner work and authentic presence. The profound impact of elevated energy, as we've explored how others project their fears onto you when your energy rises to higher frequencies. We discover that this phenomenon reveals more about them than about you. Let's continue our journey into the deeper dimensions of energetic presence and its powerful effects on those around you. You're simply present, fully inhabiting each moment without pretense or agenda. Yet this natural state becomes a canvas for others' judgments. People instinctively judge what they don't understand. When they encounter someone unshaken by the usual social currents, they paint this steadiness with the colors of their own fears and insecurities. There's a story of a hermit who was called many things by villagers who encountered him: cold, dangerously strange, mysteriously wise. He never bothered to correct any of these contradictory perceptions. One day, when asked about these varying descriptions, he simply said, "I am not what they see in me. I am what they fear to see in themselves." Your energy speaks no defense against misperceptions, but it naturally reveals truths that the unconscious mind cannot comfortably bear to acknowledge. The 12th sign your energy has reached another level is that you move through life with a calm steadiness that feels almost foreign to those caught in perpetual reactivity. While others rush frantically from task to task, you move with deliberate presence. While others panic in the face of challenges, you breathe deeply and maintain your center. Your decisions emerge not from external pressure or fear, but from inner clarity and alignment with your values. This unshakable calmness feels alien and sometimes even threatening to the chronically anxious mind. Have you noticed how chaos seems to despise calm? How frenetic energy recoils from stillness? Your natural rhythm and pace highlight others' disconnection from the present moment, creating a contrast that can feel uncomfortable to those who have normalized a state of constant stress and hurry. There's a teaching story about a monk who calmly brewed tea amidst a violent storm that terrified the village. "Why aren't you worried about the destruction all around us?" a frightened visitor asked him. The monk smiled serenely and replied, "Because I understand that I am not the storm." Your elevated energy becomes like the still eye in the center of a hurricane, centered, grounded, and untouched by the swirling chaos that consumes others. You embody the paradox of being fully engaged with life while remaining inwardly undisturbed by its temporary upheavals. The mirror, the flame, and the shadow. These ancient symbols help us understand the nature of evolved energy. When your energy truly evolves beyond ego identification, it no longer begs to be seen, acknowledged, or validated by others. It becomes like the wind, felt by all but captured by none. Like fire that warms some while burning others, depending on their relationship to it. like a mirror that simply reflects without distortion or judgment. Zen philosophy doesn't teach practitioners to deliberately disturb others. It simply teaches them to be fully authentic and present. Yet being fully present without masks, noise, or hidden agendas naturally disturbs those who depend on such artifice. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that the awakened inevitably disturb the sleeping, not through violence or confrontation, but through the silent power of genuine presence. So when your energy rises to higher frequencies and you notice others turning away, reacting defensively, envying your peace, or avoiding your company altogether, remember this profound truth. It is not you who disturbs them. It is their own reflection glimpsed in the mirror of your presence. This understanding liberates you from taking their reactions personally. Remain still in your truth. Be like water that simply shows each person their own face. Be the silence that reveals their noise by contrast. Be the calm that disturbs their inner storm through no effort of your own. Because the more your energy aligns with authentic truth, the more it naturally disturbs everything that isn't authentic. And that is not your burden to carry, that is your inherent power. The greatest paradox of spiritual evolution reveals itself in this truth. The more peaceful you become internally, the more turbulence you may temporarily awaken in others, not because you cause harm or seek conflict, but because your presence gently unsettles the comfortable illusions that many cling to for security. Energy, when elevated to higher frequencies, is never neutral or invisible. It radiates with unmistakable clarity. And radiance, by its very nature, demands exposure of what has remained hidden in shadow. Let us now go deeper, not into more external signs, but into the inner reflection of what it truly means when your energy rises beyond ordinary levels. Let's explore why this elevation naturally disturbs others, and how you might carry such power with both compassion and grace. The nature of subtle power is widely misunderstood in our world. Contemporary culture glorifies dominance, aggression, and control, yet ancient Zen wisdom recognizes true strength in surrender and non-attachment. Buddhist teachings speak of the unseen lion, the one who does not need to roar constantly, yet naturally commands respect throughout the jungle. What truly disturbs others about your presence is rarely what you say or do. Rather, it's the energetic field around you that holds silence so completely that it temporarily deafens their habitual mental noise. When they enter your presence, the constant chatter of their minds becomes suddenly apparent to them by contrast. You no longer exhaust yourself seeking to impress others. You do not strive to explain or justify yourself. This natural self-sufficiency alone triggers discomfort in those still entangled in seeking external validation. True power doesn't need to perform or prove itself. It simply is. When you walk without pride yet with complete self-awareness, you naturally disturb the ego that demands constant applause and recognition. You neither blindly conform to social expectations nor actively resist them with anger. You simply move as a river does, effortlessly following your authentic nature while remaining essentially unstoppable. People intuitively feel this quiet power, and those who don't understand its source often resist it unconsciously. Why do people project onto you, avoid your company, or sometimes even attack your character? The profound truth is that when someone meets your elevated energy, they are not only encountering you, they are simultaneously meeting their own unresolved faults, hidden wounds, and fragile identity structures reflected through your stillness. The ego instinctively recoils from such unexpected exposure. If your energy radiates calm-centeredness, it inevitably highlights their inner chaos by contrast. If you are genuinely content in solitude, your self-sufficiency reveals their emotional dependence on others. If you no longer hunger for attention and validation, your contentment threatens their insatiable need for external approval. They react not to who you actually are, but to the shadow aspects of themselves that your presence illuminates. You are simply the mirror. You are the contrast that makes visible what was hidden. Their spirit is not disturbed by you personally, but by what they sense they have lost, or perhaps never found, within themselves. Yet this disturbance, while uncomfortable, is not something negative to avoid. It is potentially sacred. All authentic awakening begins with necessary discomfort. The caterpillar must surrender its form completely before transformation into a butterfly becomes possible. Your role is not to diminish your light to make others more comfortable with their darkness. Many seekers ask, if my energy disturbs others, should I tone it down? No, that would be betraying your own evolution merely for the temporary comfort of those not yet ready to grow. Zen philosophy doesn't teach suppression of authentic energy. It teaches awareness and compassionate presence. You were not given higher awareness to please the world or make everyone comfortable. You were given it to light a path, first for yourself, and then for those ready to walk it. Your elevated energy is not a burden to apologize for. It is medicine for a world sick with illusion. Yes, this medicine may initially burn or taste bitter to some, but the fire only harms what is false and temporary. Your stillness silently teaches presence. Your comfortable silence demonstrates the value of depth over constant noise. Your emotional detachment models freedom from compulsive reactivity. Even your calm-centeredness becomes a gentle rebellion against a culture of perpetual anxiety and distraction. You do not need to convince anyone of your worth or wisdom. You are not here primarily to be understood by everyone. You are here to be real, to embody your authentic nature without apology or performance. This alone is revolutionary in a world of carefully curated personas and masks. Yet with this power comes responsibility. Zen practice is not about inflating the ego but transcending it. Your elevated energy must never become the weapon of pride or superiority. Many spiritual seekers fall into the subtle trap of feeling superior precisely because others feel uncomfortable around their presence. That is not authentic spiritual development. That is simply ego disguising itself as awakening. The deeper truth is this: those disturbed by your presence are not your enemies or inferiors. They are mirrors of your past self. Once, you too were uncomfortable around stillness. Once, you also needed constant validation from others. Once, you feared being alone with your faults. Recognizing this shared humanity allows genuine compassion to arise. Do not dim your light to make others comfortable, but also do not blindly blind others with it. Let your presence be soft yet unshakable. Let your silence carry warmth rather than cold indifference. Let your authenticity invite rather than intimidate. And if some still resist or reject your energy, allow them their journey without judgment, but silently wish them peace on their path, knowing that all evolve at their own perfect pace. Buddhist tradition speaks of bodhisattvas, awakened beings who choose to remain engaged with the world to serve the liberation of all beings. Their energy transforms suffering not primarily through preaching or teaching, but through simply existing as embodied presence. You too walk this noble path as your energy continues to refine itself. Your rising energy is not meant solely for your personal benefit. It serves as a lantern for others navigating their own darkness. Even if some turn away from your light now, your vibration leaves an energetic imprint in their consciousness. One day, perhaps years later, they may remember the peace you radiated and begin seeking it for themselves. So walk this earth not with pride but with humble responsibility. Your energetic aura is itself a teacher. Let it be humble, compassionate, and genuine. One of the final signs that your energy has truly reached another level is the profound peace you feel when being misunderstood or even disliked by others. When people misinterpret your intentions, exclude you from their circles, or react defensively to your presence, you no longer internalize their projections as personal failure. You recognize these reactions as natural parts of the sacred dance of awakening. You silently bless them and continue walking your path without disturbance. You no longer bend and contort yourself to be liked or accepted. Instead, you align yourself only with your deepest truth. This remarkable freedom, liberation from the prison of seeking approval, represents one of the highest forms of spiritual liberation, and it becomes available only to those whose energy has burned through egoic needs and attachments through consistent inner work. Yet practical questions remain about integrating this elevated energy into everyday life. Your energy may operate on another level, but you still live and interact in the material world. So how do you walk among those potentially disturbed by your light without creating unnecessary suffering? First, speak less and feel more. Let your words be few but deeply rooted in truth and compassion. Most situations do not require your immediate reaction or commentary. They simply need your understanding presence. The power of conscious listening often exceeds that of even the wisest speech. Second, observe the emotional currents around you without absorbing them. Just because others carry chaos and drama doesn't mean you must wear their energy as your own. Your awareness becomes your protection against unconscious entanglement in others' emotional states. Third, remain kind and compassionate while not making yourself endlessly available to drama and negativity. Your compassion doesn't require opening your doors to every person or situation. Wisdom carefully chooses where and how it flows, preserving energy for where it can truly serve. Fourth, maintain a consistent meditation practice. Your elevated energy requires regular clearing and refinement. Meditation serves as the broom that sweeps accumulated dust from your inner light, allowing it to shine with greater clarity and compassion. Fifth, Remember who you truly are beyond all labels and projections. Do not allow others' reactions to confuse your path or make you doubt your journey. You are not deliberately disturbing anyone. Your vibration is simply outgrowing certain frequencies that others still inhabit. This natural evolution requires neither pride nor apology. When your energy truly rises to higher frequencies, you become like a living prayer in motion. You walk through the world as a question mark in a sea of exclamation points, inviting reflection rather than demanding attention. You carry stillness like a monk, awareness like a warrior, and compassion like a mother nurturing all she encounters. Do not seek primarily to be understood by everyone. Seek instead to understand with an open heart. Do not focus on being welcomed everywhere. Focus on being true to your authentic nature wherever you find yourself. Do not attempt to silence or diminish your natural energy. Let it rise naturally. Let it occasionally disturb stagnant waters. Let it gently awaken those ready for greater awareness. The world doesn't need more noise, more masks, or more performance. It hungers for beings who dare to radiate truth regardless of how it might make others temporarily feel. When your energy reaches another level, it disturbs people only because it silently reminds them of what they too could potentially become. And that is perhaps the most sacred disturbance of all, the whispered reminder of our shared capacity for awakening. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of energy, presence, and authentic being. If you found value in these reflections, please consider subscribing to our channel for more content illuminating the path of inner transformation. Click the subscribe button below and activate the notification bell to ensure you never miss new insights as they're shared. I'd love to hear your experiences with energy and presence in the comments below. How has your own energetic evolution affected your relationships and interactions? What challenges or breakthroughs have you experienced along the way? Until next time, may you walk in peace while radiating your unique light without apology or fear.